I'm Allie. I came out after 20 years of marriage and I have 3 kids.
I'm Melissa and I have 2 kids and I came out at 37 after an 11-year marriage.
This podcast is about coming out later and the struggles and victories that come with it.
When coming out feels like the end of the world, but it's really just the beginning.
This is the Lesbian Chronicles. Welcome to the Lesbian Chronicles.
The Chronicles.
Let's go to the Chronicles. I've actually been calling it Les Chron.
Les Chron.
Uh-huh.
You know, do you remember when we were like creating the name of this?
Yeah, and it was like so many were taken or you couldn't do it.
Yeah, I know we had a hard time like finding an email address for it once we did settle on a name, but also it was kind of like we needed to have the word lesbian in there.
Yep.
Bottom line,
really
no
do.
way around it.
Right.
And at the time, I really felt still weird about the word.
I know. And now it's like lesbian. It's like nothing. It rolls right off your tongue.
Like it feels so much more comfortable now.
Right. Do you remember also when we were Googling or like looking for podcasts, there weren't that many ones with the word lesbian. Probably a lot more now.
Actually, I don't know that there were. I'm trying to think that because I know there was like 2 dykes and a mic. There was another one. Now I can't remember the name, but I think it had the word lesbian in it. And I listened to that whole podcast and then it stopped. They did maybe like 20 episodes.
Okay.
And I was literally like drinking it up.
Well, yeah, then it's like when your favorite show ends. Yeah.
And then they just kind of disappeared.
But
they also get tired? They didn't say who they were.
Do you ever get tired though of like I have podcasts that I was like obsessed with even like a month ago that now I'm just like over.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure people feel that way about us.
I know, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I was totally thinking that. And I want to give a shout out to Ashley, who I met this past week. And I won't say her last name, but I don't even think she'd care. She seemed like such an open, free spirit. But anyway, it was such a pleasure meeting you. I love that you recognized my voice.
That's so cool.
It was so cool and just so, I love people that just aren't, like she walked right up. Hi, I'm so-and-so. I don't know. She made my day that day.
Yeah. And it feels good.
It felt really good. And I was doing something so humbling, which is I was having a bathing suit fitting where you literally get completely naked and someone helps you pick out like a good bathing suit for your body type.
Really?
Yeah. So
would they put you in a thong?
They put me in a thong. Yep. String thong. No. I actually did do a 2-piece. I feel like I look better in not that my body's that good, but my body looks better in a 2-piece than it does in a 1-piece. Yeah.
I haven't worn a 1-piece since I was like 10.
I don't either. I did buy one because we're going to be swimming and like, I don't want to lose my suit. But I got a 2-piece also, but I did feel good. I felt better in what she picked than what I could have picked.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you end up with?
I ended up with just like a black bikini, but it was like the way it covered, like I don't have big boobs. I don't have a big butt, but I do have I feel like I have like an athletic kind of boy bod, unfortunately. So, unfortunately. So this kind of, I don't know, it just feels like it holds me where it needs to hold me, but it doesn't feel too like revealing, but it's not, it is still kind of revealing. Like, I don't like the ones that come up high on my stomach. Like, I don't think that looks good.
I put one of those on. I looked like I was wearing a diaper.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't look good.
No, I look like an idiot. And I find it hard too to find bathing suits that actually cover your butt.
That's it.
Entirely.
None of them do.
And I'm like, my butt is not big.
My butt is tiny. And I literally told the woman that so the first one I tried on, it like felt very revealing of my ass. And so then she's like, well, try this one. It was even worse. So then it made the first one feel like, okay, I guess this is what we do now. We just have half our ass hanging out. She's like, this is what we do. This is what we do. So I'm like, okay. Good God.
My God.
Yeah. But anyway, my point in that is I was in a very vulnerable state when I met this woman. But it was great. And I loved meeting her. So shout out to Ashley.
Yay.
Anyway, how have you been?
I have been great.
You went to a big birthday party. Happy birthday, Dariella.
Yes, Dariella had her birthday yesterday. We did a party at her friend Teddy's house, our friend
Sweet.
Teddy's house.
Yeah.
And it was so freaking cool. Teddy's a barber here in Atlanta, and she like basically has like a live workspace.
Okay.
And so the party was set up in like her barber shop area. Like she moved all the
Sweet.
chairs
Oh
out
my
and stuff. And there was a
God.
stage,
Yeah.
karaoke. Like it was a blast. Like Dariella knows how to throw a party.
I
that's for
know
sure.
that about
So,
her. Yep. Do you know
yes,
do you remember
yes.
when I went through the phase of I was going to buzz my hair off? Were you part of this?
What? No.
Yeah, this was like maybe a couple months ago. I was like, you know what? Like, fuck it. Like, Owen was getting his hair buzzed, and I saw this like adorable woman with her hair buzzed and like these big earrings, and she looked super femme with like this
Right.
buzz haircut. So I literally I made an appointment. I was doing it. And like Maria was like, you got to do it. It's going to be so badass. And then it was like, as it got closer to the appointment, I was like, I don't think I can do it. Like, I don't think I can't do it. And then I started seeing more and more women with buzz haircuts that still were very femme, because I consider myself pretty
Right.
femme. And, but then I totally chickened out and didn't do it. But if I do get back to ballsy and doing it, I'm going to go to Teddy.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, I feel like that is such a ballsy move,
Yeah.
but you can look so femme
I know.
that way.
That's
Like,
it.
but I
Part of
do
it is
feel like
hate
you have
my
to put in
hair.
a little bit more work as far as like you've got to wear the earrings and like,
Yep.
you know, eye makeup and all that stuff.
I
So that's kind
know.
of the part that I wonder about. Like, what happens when you just want to like roll over to Walmart in a baseball cap?
Right.
Like, are you going to be called sir a
I
thousand
know,
times
that's the
or
thing. I
little
don't know,
boy?
but I do typically have earrings in, and I do typically have a type, like I'm very rarely dressed totally masculine,
Yeah.
but I don't know. And then like actually Owen did it. Owen looked amazing. Like his hair was buzzed and everyone loved it. But then he was like, Mom, now that I've done it, like I wanted you to do it. Now I'm telling you, don't do it. Like he was
Don't
like,
do
I
it.
know you, like, don't do it. And of course my daughter
Yeah.
was like, do it.
There's still
didn't.
time.
There's still time. So Teddy, I
Maybe
might
we
be
need to
coming
do a
you.
poll.
Let's do a poll. Somebody actually, one of my graphic designers, I told her to like do it for like take one of my pictures and make it buzzed and share it with me so I can kind of see what I would look like. And let's just say it wasn't awesome, but
No.
I'll share it with you.
Was it the graphic design?
It
stuff,
might have
or
just
like,
been that, like, what the picture I gave her of me wasn't ideal. I also have kind of a round head, so I don't know.
I was gonna say I don't know. I can't say that I would ever have the guts to do that.
Yeah,
Like
but you have
even
like,
the
beautiful
short hair.
I don't love my hair.
Yeah, like that's just it. I feel like I'd be doing a disservice if I cut my hair. Like my hair,
It's
I
your
love
trademark.
it. It's long
Yeah,
and it's
it is.
thick.
It's thick and
So
beautiful.
I'm like, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll go the short route, but
Yeah.
definitely not anytime soon.
Not today. Not today.
I actually have a joke in my stand-up about how I can't have short hair because I would be kidnapped by a pedophile because I get mistaken for a little boy
It's true.
frequently.
It's true. Oh my God, yes. That's hilarious. It happened at my house, so I can attest to
Yes,
this.
it happened at your house. It happened at Kroger. Some lady thought I was her grandson.
It's so rude.
It cracks me up.
It's like, what in the world, though?
I don't know. Like it's my little boy energy. Like
I
instead
think
of the
it's
masculine
like the hat
energy.
backwards and the shoes. Like
Yeah,
people are.
it's almost always, or it is always when I have on a backwards hat and like Vans or something.
And you are shorter than
Yeah,
me,
like I'm
so,
about
yeah.
little boy size.
Yeah. So okay, little boy size. That sucks. All right. Well, let's get after it.
Yeah, you're asking how I'm doing, and I'm like, one of the reasons why I'm so great is because I won
Hell yes.
a film festival.
I know.
Won
It's
the best short
unbelievable.
screenplay.
Yes.
And this whole thing is just like mind blowing. Like I've wanted to do screenwriting for a long time.
Right.
I don't really know how to get into the whole thing. I've been a writer for the news media for my entire career. And I used to do acting when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And but I quit. And I'm realizing that I quit because I was having a hard time acting straight, like as I
Yeah.
got older.
Well, you're already
And-
acting straight in your life, maybe even
Right.
subconsciously.
And as a kid, my roles were like, I played an abused child a few times.
Yeah.
It was like basic shit.
Right.
And I was like, what else did I do? Oh, I was in a commercial for troll hair bows,
Oh God.
which was literally one of the most embarrassing things I've ever done in my life.
What's a troll hair bow?
You remember how trolls were like it in the
Yes.
90s?
Yeah. But you mean like a hair bow that had trolls
It was like
on
a
it?
hair bow and it had a little miniature troll on it.
Okay.
And they had like a whole line of hair bows to the point where they bought a commercial on Nickelodeon.
How have I never heard of this?
The product or that I did
product.
this commercial?
The product.
Because it didn't like take off by any means.
It didn't take off.
They sent me a whole box of troll hair bows
Oh
after
my
I shot
God,
the
this is
commercial.
unbelievable.
And I was like, I'm in 5th or 6th grade. I'm like, I cannot wear fucking troll hair bows to school.
Right,
Like,
right.
This is bad enough. I'm in the
social
commercial.
suicide. Social suicide.
And like, get this, like, fast forward to my senior year of high school, April Fool's Day. I'm sitting in my class, my first period class. The morning announcements are on, and I hear the song from the commercial start playing on the announcements. I look up, it's fucking playing to the whole school.
Oh God.
And my best friend had gotten the tape from my mom and put it on the announcements for April.
Oh my God.
I was like dying.
You had like a Miley Cyrus moment where it's like you were trying to be normal at school and now
And now everybody knows.
Everyone knows.
Everyone has seen it. I'm like, we forgot about this from the 6th grade. Like, come on. Because I had
awesome.
a line too that was, look, I have a troll on my head.
Oh God.
It was the cheesiest shit. And the way when I auditioned, that was not my line. That was not my line. They gave me that line in the middle of shooting the commercial. They said, you know what? Instead of that kid saying that, you say that.
This.
And I'm like, no.
Anything but that.
It was terrible. So anyway, after I stopped being able to play the kid with a troll in her hair, I was auditioning for like roles that were really like kind of sexual, you know? And the last one I auditioned for was in the movie Road Trip. And in the scene, I was going to be like going down on Sean William Scott's character.
Okay.
And I got called back for it, didn't get cast. Then the part was cut from the movie anyway.
Okay.
But I just remember like auditioning and being like, why is this so hard for me?
Yeah.
To,
like why
play
don't
this
I
role?
feel like, like this isn't a natural place for me to be.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it just, I don't know. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to fit the mold of what these casting directors want from me at my age.
Right.
You know, 20 something.
Then there weren't that many roles for kind of tomboy women.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, this is late 90s, early 2000s ish. And, you know, Atlanta had a good film business at the time. Not anywhere what it is today.
Right.
Yeah, I was just realizing like these are my roles. Like this feels weird, and I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna go to finish college and see what happens and get a job. You know.
Yeah.
But then fast forward to like coming out, and I started writing again.
Yeah.
You know, one of the first things I did when I came out was to write that opinion piece on CNN, and then like we started this podcast, and we've written some stuff together, like. I started doing stand-up. Like all of these things I would have never done had I not come out.
Right. And I think that's such a great place to say that it does open up when you come into who you actually are. It's like everything sort of unleashes things that like you wouldn't have even thought about. If somebody would have told me 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you're going to end up doing a podcast on the thing that you are the most terrified of.
Right.
That I would have been like, yeah, fat fucking chance. Like that'll never happen. Or my business. Like, truth be told, like I have very real memories of sitting with my divorce attorney and me telling her that I want to start this company. And my degree is physical therapy. And I loved physical therapy, but I didn't really want to go back to that. And her saying essentially like she did the math or whatever. And she's like, you have this many years to make X, or you've got to hang it up and go back to physical therapy. Like, I'm just telling you, you're going to financially, it'll be suicide for you. And I remember that clock like ticking in my head, but I still had the dream of like starting the company. And I would never have done that had I been married. Not that he wouldn't have let me. He would have gladly let me. I just wouldn't have. You're on autopilot. You're living this life as somebody else, truly, that didn't feel like me. I was happy, but I wasn't really living.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, that totally makes sense because I feel the same way. It's like I was happy. It's not like I could sit
Yeah.
here and be like, oh, like my life sucked. I was
I was
happy,
happy.
and we were having a good time, but I was not being who I truly am.
No.
And I was not doing any kind of like creative outlet like I used to do
Right.
outside of like professional acting. I did theater. I wrote like short stories and stuff just like on my own.
Yeah.
And I just stopped doing
Yeah.
any of that.
It's like, what
I
happens?
entirely.
Yeah.
And like, and I've heard this from a few other people that have said like, yeah, like I used to paint when I was a teenager and then I stopped. And now that I've come out, I'm started painting again.
Yes.
And we carry so much guilt around coming out.
It's true.
Right. And especially with like how sexualized the topic is.
Right.
People like we used to joke, like it's coming out as like telling your grandma your favorite sexual position. Like,
yeah.
And
yeah.
It's because that's where everyone's brain
Totally.
goes about
you're
it.
gay. You like to sleep with women. You like to
Right?
go down on women.
Right.
You like to do
And
this with women. It's so embarrassing.
It's
like,
so embarrassing and it
yeah.
feels icky and it feels like I'm some sort of like sexual deviant that can't control my urges,
Well, I mean, you are, but the rest
I mean,
of
I am
us-
a little bit.
exactly.
A little bit. But it's like, dog, you're so obnoxious. Yeah, now I got a puppy. That's the other thing that I'm
Oh,
like,
geez.
I wouldn't have a puppy, but it's so sexualized. And I think we feel a lot of guilt because of that.
Right.
And I'm realizing that like, no, like while the like dating women part is nice, 100%, this has just allowed me to be me on like so many other levels.
It's true.
And I feel less guilty realizing that.
And do you also feel like it's not just like all the things you're pursuing? It's also like the conversations I'm having day in and day out are different now. And it's like when you think about how many years I spent as this like pseudo version of me having those, having conversations, it's like, I don't know. I feel such an evolution in that every day now, or if I go to lunch with people, I had dinner Friday night with 2 friends, straight friends, but the conversations I'm having with them now are so different than they would have been 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Like your whole life
Do you think
kind of changes.
that even talking to those straight friends that you have like more honest conversations with them, or like that
it's
maybe
like
you kind of brought something out of them to be a little bit more open?
Maybe like they're divorced, so we have that in common. But I felt like there's more meaningful relationships because I am exactly who I am. Like it's unapologetic now in a way that like before, when you have a secret or deep inside something's different, you can't help but have a little bit of shame. And when you have a little bit of shame, you can't possibly relax into the conversation. You just can't. So it's like when you feel great at being who you are, it's so easy to relax into the conversation and just offer your side or like bring up good questions or have interesting points to make with people that are more interesting than just where you're going on spring break. It's like you just are so comfortable with who you are. Like I think about like if I'm at dinner now, there's very little someone could say to me that would rock me anymore. Like it's just everything's more meaningful.
Well, also too, it's like we've kind of been given this gift of like really going inside of ourselves, asking who we really are, and also asking like how we got here. That's like a self-reflection I never would have done had I not
same.
And learn so much more just about like mental health and like how our brains work and why we do feel guilty, why we do feel shame.
Totally.
Like
I was doing this, I don't, if anyone has like there's this treadmill out there that has something called iFit where they have like trainers that train you for different events or just running in general. I'm a runner, so I love to like listen to other people's running perspective. But this guy is a fantastic runner, but he was talking about when you train for a marathon that he calls it the 10-10-10, where you basically run 10 miles, but at the end of the 10 miles, you stop and just reflect on how does my body feel? How's my emotional health? And I was thinking about how like that is so true now in my own life. Like I will stop sometimes if I'm getting anxiety and kind of say, how am I feeling? What is this about? Like, what am I scared of? Why am I getting triggered right now? Or why do I feel sad? Like, what's really happening? That's been like, it's true about running, but it's really true about just life or like work. You know, why does this person set me off in this way? Or what is going on with me, my body right now?
That's really relatable for sure. Because like, I feel like when I was married, you know, if I was upset about something, most of the time I didn't say anything.
No, because it's just like, whatever.
I would, I'd just kind of like let time pass. And I'm like, you know, I'll get over it kind of thing. Like, there's no need to like rock the boat. There's no need to talk about this.
Right.
And it just gets pushed down. But now if I'm upset about something, like you said, it's kind of like I dissect why.
Yeah, why?
My head first.
What is it for you? Like, I'm curious around, like, let's say you're going through your day, something happens maybe with your partner or, I don't know, a friend, and you start feeling like a level of kind of anxiety or maybe sadness. What is it for you mostly? Can you ever identify, like, for me, I can usually identify really what it's coming from. Do you ever?
Well, like, I think most of the time it's that childhood wound, you know, of feeling like you're not good enough kind of thing. Like, or that someone's going to like abandon you. And that's the thing, like my parents are still married. They didn't ever abandon me by any means.
Right.
But I think just like in general, like we all kind of had that fear of you're going to lose it all.
Yeah.
Kind of circling back to like the acting thing, like one of the reasons why I kind of was able to leave it and not miss it is because of like the rejection that comes with that. And that like I've since realized like that was a lot for me to deal with as a kid.
Right.
I would push it down. If I didn't get a role that I was excited about, I'd just be like, you know what, like it's okay. Like, but I would push it down and I wouldn't feel it.
Yeah.
And now I can see like, oh wow, no, that fucking sucked.
Yeah. It does fucking suck. It fucks at work not to get the order, not to get the deal done, not to like, it does.
Yeah. Like it's the same thing with like getting a job. Like that's
they
happened
pick somebody
to me.
Else.
Because initially when I interviewed for the job that I have now, I was not hired the first time. And I remember being like so upset about it.
Like, why didn't they pick me?
I was like, that was my chance. That, you know, why didn't they pick me? And now I never will get a chance again. Like that feeling like there's that limited opportunity, you know?
Right.
And then a few months later, they emailed me and they said, hey, we have a position open and it's probably a better fit than the one that you interviewed for before. So come on in. And I got that job. So
it's like they liked you. They just didn't, they felt like that wasn't the right role for you.
Right. Exactly. And they were right.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Just stopping and saying like, what am I feeling? What is going on inside my brain right now that's causing me to have this anxiety? And for me too, it's almost always I'm scared of something happening, whether it's being left, whether it's, you know, the kids not wanting to be at our house and wanting to be at Chris's, or, you know, Maria's in a mood. What's going on? Is something wrong with us? You go through all these things in your mind, but the truth is, if you just like sit there and just sit in it, you can feel anxious for a minute, 2 minutes, an hour. Like it usually just passes. Like I think the harder thing is when you fight it and try to like, no, this isn't happening. And like, I think sometimes it's good just to sit in it and identify where it's coming from.
Yeah. And also to not react to it.
Right.
I think that's a big thing, taking that moment, because it's like, if your partner's acting a little weird or something and you blow up at them,
right,
then you've created an even bigger problem.
I do that all the time.
You know?
I literally did it yesterday.
So we're talking about things that we don't do.
Exactly. I do that all the time.
So what happened though? Like, I mean, not to get like into the details of
we were going to look at houses, which we do all the time. I'm in the business, but also I'm always kind of looking at houses. And this house was pretty far away. So we were going to be in the car for a while with the kids. And shout out to Jennifer Waddy. I always like to give her a shout out. My agent forever. I've bought and sold 1 million houses with her. She literally, I don't know another agent that does all she does. Like it's unbelievable. Jennifer Waddy, if you ever need a real estate agent, I don't know that there's someone better in this town. That's all I'm going to say. So, but anyway, we're all getting ready to go look, and Maria's in a mood. Like I can tell, like her vibe is off. And I literally, instead of just like calmly, she can be in a mood. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
And she wasn't probably even in a mood. It was probably me projecting on her my own stuff going on. But anyway, I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like in front of the kids. And so she's like, nothing's wrong with me. And like, why are you doing this in front of the kids? I'm like, because I don't want to ride 2 hours in the car if this is going to be the vibe.
Yeah.
And so I end up being like, I'm turning around. Like, I'm not doing this. Like, we're going to have to make
she's
something
turning the car
out.
around,
Turning
folks.
the car around. And the kids are like, what? We're not going? And I'm thinking, like, what am I telling Jen? Like, am I like telling her, like, Maria and I just don't want to ride with her? Like, can I ride?
I don't want to be in the car with her, so we're canceling.
Anyway, it was all fine and it worked out. But I thought, what the better thing would have been to not turn this into a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't have to take on. That is something I do, is I take on. If I think you're upset, Melissa, I'm starting to like be upset. Mm-hmm. There's a word for it. You attenuate, I think is what it is, to someone else's mood.
Huh.
And that's a problem for me. Like, if I think my business partner is feeling something, like, I start to feel it.
But it, like you said, though, it's like
It worries
Maria's
me.
free to be in a bad mood
Or
sometimes.
not even be in a bad mood.
You know, we
she's
all
allowed
are.
to be quiet. Like, if she's not smiling and giving the kids like snacks and being happy, I'm like, what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? Where'd my Stepford wife go?
So anyway, I could take I need a lesson in that, because that's something I do. I react and I worry. I worry something bigger is wrong. And that's my thing.
Well, it is kind of like, you know, you can feel people's energy for sure. And when that energy shifts, that's when I go into like panic mode for sure. If I feel someone's energy shift,
that's
it's
what I'm
like,
saying.
oh God, what did I do? What can I do to make it better?
Yeah,
like,
totally. And I'm sure, like, if you go back in your Rolodex of like the day, I've probably done 100 things that are like slightly a problem.
Slightly annoying. They just built up.
But it's like, if that's yours, so is she. So have you. Like, we all do. I'm here recording today. The kids are at home.
Right.
You know, I mean, I could come home to a war zone. I don't know.
Yes. It's like with the puppy, like Marina is getting up and taking care of the dog, because I can sleep through it. I'm like, whatever, that dog can bark all she wants right now.
That?
I'm not getting up. But like in the middle of the night, the other night, I wake up and the dog's in the bed. The dog's not supposed to be in the bed. And I'm literally like, Marina, the dog's in the bed. And she goes, no talking.
Yeah, I'm with her. Why
That's
are you
all she said to me was no talking.
Yeah.
Like, don't wake this dog up.
And
basically.
She's like, deal with your dog. I will say, like, the puppy thing, because, you know, we have one too. The puppy has definitely, we love her so much. I mean, this is our baby together. We are obsessed with her. But she has definitely wrecked us a little.
Oh, it creates
like,
a rift for sure.
Not only, it's like a physical rift, actually, like an actual physical thing between us, but then it's also like this shift of like the responsibilities. It creates a rift of like, I was out there, I walked her, I've taken her to daycare. Are you going to pick her up? Like, it's this whole thing. The dog has created such problems in our marriage.
Yes. Like Marina literally said this to me this morning. She was like, I feel like the wife that's been at home taking care of the kids.
Yeah.
While you've been at work. And then you come home, like, because the dog this morning, she had fallen back asleep and I wake up and she's like, don't move.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to wake her up. I just got her back to sleep.
Yeah, it's true.
He's like, you're the dad that comes home and like riles the kids up.
Yeah, it is. Know? Totally.
I'm like, oh, I always wanted to be the dad.
You're like, okay.
Okay. Sign me up.
It's true. And like right when things are like at a fever pitch high of like it's getting bad with her, then it's like that's when I have to go do something. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of why today I brought her, because I'm like, I don't even want to have to worry
I've got the dog right here next to me,
mine too.
Eating me.
I know. I thought we were going to be together and put these two together.
Oh, you know, it probably is good that it didn't work out, because can you imagine trying to record with the two of them, like just being bonkers puppies together?
I know, they would be going bonkers.
Like this one, she gets so like the zoomies, you know, like
totally
all over the place.
I think I got to give a shout out to your partner for letting you have her at her new place.
Oh, 100%.
Like that to me is like, my house is my treasure. To have someone bring their puppy over that's not mine, I'm not feeling psyched.
And Charlie's not the sharpest I'm afraid. She's not the
Yeah.
brightest one in the bunch.
It's a lot of
There's not a
work.
thought behind those eyes.
No, it gets easier, but you're in the hardest stage for sure.
And I've never done this before. So I am a brand new puppy parent for the first time mom.
It's a
And
lot.
you're
But to your point, that
terrorized.
is like a new thing. It's like you would never have done this had you been in your old life.
Oh,
So there
right.
are so
Yeah.
many things. And like you said, the writing. And I think that should be encouraging to people that when you come out and you get this rewrite, it's like you use it to figure out what you really want. Like, don't just settle into the status quo. Like, I reinvented friendships even that were that season of my life that now I've moved on, and I have other people that fill the void, that fill me up more, that I leave, energized when I'm with them. And it's like, I think you have this chance to like rewrite it however you want it. And that
Right.
includes everything from your job to your friendships to who you want to spend a Saturday night with to all of it.
One of the things that we hear a lot too is like, I'm too old to do this, that kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
you feel like your life has already passed by. But one of the things that someone said at the film festival last weekend, someone that won an award for best film, which is a great film, by the way, it's called Potluck. You can see the preview of it on YouTube. They don't have
Okay.
the full movie up, but it's really a good film. But the woman that won it, she's like over 50.
Okay.
And she said, like, this is just proof that like you can do anything at any age. Like, she
It's
didn't
so
start
true.
doing this until like recently. And it's just like we feel so restricted by society telling us that like, oh, you're old, get out of here kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's like not the case at all.
And you're actually have so much more wisdom at 50.
Yeah.
The
So much more
only
life
thing that
experience.
I would say like you have to combat at an older age is like you almost, in many ways, at least for like when I was getting started with my business, I almost feel like what was my best asset was my naivety toward how hard it is to start something. Like, I didn't know. I just assumed it would be fine and we're going to have customers and it's going to be great. I didn't know any better because I'd never done it. And so I think sometimes when you're younger, you have that feeling of like, you can't be defeated. I remember my business partner would always say, we have no plan B. Like, this will work because we're not sleeping until it works. Like, this is no plan B. But it was also like I don't want to say we weren't smart enough because we're both smart, but it was like we didn't know we could fail. So it's like we just assumed it was going to be fine. And I guess I feel like when you get older, you start to like know too much because you've got all this baggage of like, my marriage didn't work, my friend died of cancer, this bad, horrible thing happened. And it starts to load you down with fear of like what could happen wrong. And then you're too scared to move. You're like paralyzed from fear. So it's like free up, like just say to yourself, yeah, but that bad thing could happen, but you pivot.
So go into it with the naive mind
Yeah,
of a
try to
20-year-old.
be, yeah, like
And the wisdom of a 50-year-old.
That's it. I mean, it's the best. To me, that is like, if you can have those two things, you can't fail. And you can't fail anyway, because what is it? If you don't like the way it looks, pivot. Change it up. It's not working. The game plan's not working. We change it for the second half.
Find a different path.
Yeah. So it's just, I do think that is so true. Like, there is no wrong choice, like we said, because either way, you can always flip the script. One of the women that I had dinner with is divorced. She's straight, but she's in a relationship that she was feeling like, she's like, he's this amazing guy. Like, I'm dating him. He's fun. But she's like, there's something about him that doesn't feel like, not that he's not a serious person, but just that like he's not who I'm going to end up with. Like, I feel that already. He was the perfect landing place post-divorce, but likely not where I'm going to end up. And I thought she is having some feelings of like, I'm probably ready to move on, but I'm scared. Because I don't, I'm worried. I have that scarcity mindset. That's not true.
That's interesting because I kind of feel like that's more of that scarcity mindset is more in like the gay community.
Yeah.
But to know that like straight people are experiencing that too. Like, because I feel like when you're straight, there's a zillion options.
Yeah. And she I think is coming around to that. But I thought it was interesting that she recognizes all these wonderful qualities in this person, but sees already that this is not likely my long-term solution.
But she feels like she might need to hold on to it because
Yeah.
what else
Like,
is out
what
there?
else? Or do I want to be alone? Or is it okay if I am alone? All those things that you wonder. And I think maybe this is, I know we're going to talk about this in another episode, but also the dating with people that have kids and with people that don't have kids. She's got children, he doesn't. And I think maybe this is a good place maybe to parlay, because I know we're going to be talking about next week, blending families, or even just dating when you're dating someone who has kids, the challenges that brings, but then also dating people without kids, there's different challenges. So I think it's like even that, there's no right answer. Like you just have to get out there and find your peace, find what lights you up.
I love it.
Yeah, me too.
So don't feel guilty about coming out because it's more than that.
It's way more than that. All right, my friend.
Fun times. We'll be back. And I guess next week we're talking about blended families
Sounds good to me.
and dating and all that good stuff.
Exactly.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Want to support the Lesbian Chronicles podcast? Rate us and write a review on Apple Podcast or Spotify.
We love listener feedback. If you'd like to share your story, email us at melissaandallie@gmail.com. That's Melissa, MELISA, and Allie, ALLI, @gmail.com. Or follow us on Instagram at Lesbian Chronicles.